Madam Speaker. A couple weeks ago, there was a resolution introduced in the Congress, H-Con-Res 362, that quickly got 220 co-sponsors. And I want to talk a little bit more about that resolution because there are some members of Congress now having second thoughts about invoking a blockade on Iran. Take, for instance, here's a quote from Congressman Robert Wexler of Florida. He says, given my growing concerns regarding this resolution, including its failure to advocate for direct American engagement with Tehran in open language that could lead to a U.S. blockade of Iran, I will lead an effort to make changes to this resolution before it comes to the Foreign Affairs Committee for a vote. The chairman of the Financial Services Committee, Barney Frank, had this to say: I'm all for stricter sanctions against Iran, but the blockade part goes too far. I'm going to call the sponsors and tell them I'm changing my votes. I would like all members of Congress to reconsider, because I consider sense of Congress resolution, and that it's going to lead to trouble. Now, there's a new pro-Israeli lobby established called J Street, and they had some comments about this legislation as well. Their comments are this: we, as a group, oppose preemptive military action by either the United States or Israel, and we support stronger U.S. diplomacy. To us, it's common sense that saber-rattling and constant threats are counterproductive. What better way to unite Iran behind its most hawkish leaders than threatening to attack? What better way to empower the Iranian hardliners' case for nuclear weapons development than to talk of a military attack? Today, I had 3 young Iranians in my office, and they verified that next year there will be an election, and Ahmadinejad, who's in political trouble over there, is being enhanced by our militant conversation we have here, threatening of blockades, and with this plan or possible plan to actually bomb Iran. But the other side argues, well, no, it's all the Iranians' fault. They're testing missiles. The testing of missiles came after there were war games by Israel testing whether or not they had the manpower and the airplanes to travel that particular distance. So the saber rattling is not one-sided, and we cannot say that it's all the Iranians' fault. This H-Con-Res 362, the authors claim it is not a blockade, but what it does, it demands inspection of all imports of petroleum products, vehicles, ships, planes, trains, and cargo. They use the word prohibit and impose stringent inspection on all of these items. Now, the question I would like to pose here for our members is this: how would we as Americans, and how would we as our government react if a strong government came and did that to us? What if another government came and say, we are going to restrict the importation of petroleum products, and that we are going to inspect all vehicles, ships, planes, trains, and cargo? I mean, we would know what that would mean. How could they do that without an embargo? This is militant language. It's just looking for trouble, and it will not help solve the situation. There is nothing wrong with talking to people. We talked to the Soviets in the midst of the Cold War. They had 40,000 nuclear weapons. Now it's talked about, well, maybe the Iranians might get a weapon later on. And quite frankly, this talk about all this violation, the Iranians were asked by IAEA not to resume enrichment. They had voluntarily stopped enrichment for peaceful purposes. They have every right under the Non-Proliferation Treaty to enrich for peaceful purposes. In the last year, there have been 9 unannounced inspections of the Iranian nuclear sites. They have never once been found in violation. This does not make them angels. This does not make them not want the desire to defend their country. But think about it. How many countries have nukes around them? Pakistan has nukes. India has them. Israel has them. United States have them. China has them. The Soviets have them. And they're being threatened. War games are being practiced with the potentiality of us being a participant in bombing them. So it is time for us to take a deep breath and reassess our position.